What's up guys, my name is Lauren and welcome back to my channel. We are well into March, so I owe you guys a recap of our February budget. As always, if you like this budget dashboard, you can get it for yourself. It comes with a detailed video tutorial and is an instant download to Google Sheets. And I will have it linked in the video description. All right, this is my family's real budget for February of 2024. February was kind of uneventful for us, which is great. February was the first full month that we were living in our house, and budget-wise, it was uneventful. Life-wise, it was very busy, but we stayed on track. So let's go over all the numbers. For income, we had budgeted $9,316. This is net income after like taxes and 401k contributions and everything come out of our income. And we actually brought in $9,364. So we were only off by $48, which is much closer than we usually are. It's hard when you don't have set income, and most people don't. Most people's income varies a good amount. And so when you have variable income, it's kind of hard to budget sometimes. But anyway, this month we were only off by $48, so that made budgeting like very simple this month. So let's see where that $9,000 went this month. So first of all, we've got Pay Yourself First, which for us is like long-term savings and investing. And we had budgeted $1,200 for my husband's Roth IRA. We are trying to fund his 2023 Roth IRA, which we have until tax day of 2024 to do. And so we are pushing to see if we're going to make it. And spoiler alert, we did. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know that we made our last contribution a couple days ago, and we maxed out his 2023 Roth, which is great because we were cutting it a little close. So we had budgeted $1,200 and we did put $1,250 to his Roth. And then our only non-mortgage debt is my husband's student loan, which has a minimum payment of $830, and we paid that as well. All right, taking a look at the more interesting section of the budget. So our mortgage in February was $0 because when you buy a house, there's like a month or two that your mortgage process is for, and so you don't have to pay your mortgage immediately. And so for February, we had no housing costs, which was great. And it helped us get ahead on some other things, which you'll see in a second. So for life insurance, we paid our $82. My husband and I have policies. I got actually 2 policies through Policy Genius, which I was really happy with them when I used them. It was very easy to get term life insurance for myself, so I know I have a lot of coverage for a low cost, so I'll link them below if you want to check them out. Internet and cell phone is back down to $115. I don't know why it went up to $126 in January when we moved some sort of fee. I didn't look into it. It dropped back down to $115. I can't believe we have internet and cell phone for that low of an amount. Like, we used to pay more than that just for cell phone. So if you're paying more than we are for internet and cell phone, look into it because there's deals out there. And our cell service is great. We have unlimited data, and our internet is like one of the fastest speeds available. We have Xfinity for both. All right, security is $30, car insurance $113, and Spotify is $11. We budgeted $1,200 for groceries, and we did spend $1,285. I also just talked to you guys about this on my Instagram stories, but I feel like groceries continue to go up. I'm just buying the same things, really, and I just can't seem to stay totally in budget. So it wasn't bad. It was only over by $85, but I like to spend what I budget. And I really don't want to increase our grocery budget because we could use that money elsewhere. So I'm going to wait and hold off like a couple months and see. But let me know. Comment below. Have you increased your grocery budget lately in the past like few months? I feel like for the past 2 years, maybe every 6 months we've had to up it, but I just don't want to do it again. For household, we spent $196, so that was just in budget. That's things like dish soap and paper towels and batteries and like just household things that we buy. Gas, we spent $223, and so that was a little bit over. Next month, I budgeted $225 for gas. I'm trying to figure out like the sweet spot for gas because we really don't drive that much. I think we each fill up like 2 or 3 times a month. All right, utilities was $525 this month, and we had budgeted $600, so that was in budget. However, I noticed we have not been getting a gas bill. I was like, wow, the utilities at the new house are just like so reasonable. This was less than we were paying in our apartment. And I'm like, that can't be right. So I looked back and I realized we've been paying our electric. We've been paying for like the town utilities like trash, sewer, water. But we haven't got a gas bill since we moved in January. And we started our gas service on January 2nd. It is now March 10th when I'm filming this. So I called them a few days ago and I was like, hi, you guys aren't billing us, because I didn't want a situation where I just ignored it and then like a year from now we get a bill for like $2,000 or something. So it was going to catch up to us eventually. So they said they were going to look into it, and so I'm curious to see what that bill is going to be. This means we probably need more budgeted for utilities than we're budgeting, because we were under budget, but that's because we weren't getting like our most expensive utility bill the last 2 months. So we'll see what happens with that. I'll keep you updated. All right, miscellaneous expenses, it was $4, so that was basically nothing. And now let's take a look at the sinking funds. So for my husband, myself, and my 2 daughters, we each get $150. And then for school and activities, I usually budget $1,000, but we doubled up because we were planning for a low income month in March. So we doubled up these 4 sinking funds so we can skip them in March. And so for school and activities, we ended with $1,043 in there, so like an extra $1,000 that we normally have. Miles is all set. He's my cat. He's got $384 in there. He actually went to his annual vet visit recently, so that will be coming out of those funds. And if you haven't used sinking funds before, they're basically just a fund where you set aside money every single month for a category that you may or may not have to spend in each month. So for example, my cat Miles, like there's a small expense that we pay every month, $80 for his pet insurance, but we budget $250 a month for him. So when things come up like his annual vet visit, that's covered. His food's covered. Like we don't order that every single month, but we have money set aside because we know we're gonna have to pay that expense. And it kind of normalizes your budget. So when you do your budget and at the end of the month you have an extra, whatever, $1,500 and you're like, oh, I can just spend this. It makes you realize, well, actually I don't have that much. Just because I don't have to buy cat food this month, it doesn't mean that money isn't gonna be needed next month. So it forces you to budget for what you actually need over the course of the year, even though you don't have to spend on every single expense you have every single month. All right, for gifts, we put $100 in there. We usually do 50. We already had 101 and we spent 198, so we were left with $3 in there. So even though we doubled up gifts, we needed that money anyway. It seems like there's just more and more things coming up. Like my daughter's getting invited to a lot of birthday parties now, and so we're just buying gifts for people all the time between like her little friends, birthday parties, and family, and like Mother's Day, Father's Day, like all that kind of stuff. That all comes out of this fund. All right, girls' birthday and Christmas, we put aside $400 and we had $200, so we now have $600 in there. My daughter is turning 5 in May, which is very exciting. So we are throwing a birthday party for her, and we are already working on those details. So you'll see some spending in March actually to reserve our venue for it, because our house is not ready to host yet, like not even close. Like we have a kitchen table with no chairs, and we just got a couch like 2 weeks ago, and I'm in the middle of painting. It's really fun. I'm trying to enjoy the process like of decorating and painting and choosing the things that are gonna make it ours. But at the same time, it is also like I just want to chill on the weekends, and we're just not getting that. But anyway, we are going outside of the home for her birthday because our house isn't ready. But maybe next year we'll have a birthday party for her at our house. The backyard needs a lot of work too, so that's a whole other story that's going to take like probably several years to straighten that out. All right, car maintenance, we spent $113 and we have $27 left in there. For home maintenance, we spent $840 and we have $32.53 left in there. And I would really love to keep at least like $2,000 in the home maintenance fund, although this is already down lower than this, but we'll get there. Like that's my ultimate goal, is to put aside $500 a month in the home maintenance fund and then have like a minimum balance of $2,000 in there. Home decor, we spent $790 and that went negative by $571, but we are getting our tax refund, and I knew that was coming, and it actually already hit our bank account in March, and so we're gonna use some of that money to do things we need to do for the house, which is exciting. All right, for medical, we were negative. We put in $300 and spent $40, so we have $124 in there. We will be able to reset with our medical on April 1st to use like a tax advantage FSA for medical expenses. So for now, we're putting some money aside and just paying cash to get us through that period of time where we like ran out of FSA funds. And then for vacation, we had $200. We put another $100 in there, and then we spent $281, which actually it wasn't vacation. My husband had to travel for something like family related, and so because we have no trips planned and we had no extra funds like allocated for a trip like that he needed to take last minute, we used the vacation money for that. So I don't think we're going to be taking a vacation this year. I don't know. We'll see. With so much that we need to do for the house, I just feel like that's going to be the priority this year, and I'm totally okay with that. And also, like, traveling with little kids is not super relaxing. I feel like when they're maybe like 5 and 8 years old, like around that age range, vacations will be more relaxing. Traveling is just probably not in the cards right now, especially with our budget so tight and all these things we want to do for the house. So I've talked to you guys about that in a couple recent videos. And then for our emergency fund, we didn't add anything. We have a $10,000 emergency fund in our checking account, and I like that in there as a buffer so that no matter when throughout the month we get paid, I know we have plenty of money for whatever our bills are, because like our mortgage comes out on the 1st, and that's $4,500. So we definitely need like money in there on the 1st of the month. And so I like having a part of our emergency fund in checking, and then the rest is in a high yield savings account. So we ended the month with $14,775 in our sinking funds, $10,000 of which is emergency fund. For our monthly spending for Pay Yourself First, we sent 13.3% of our net income to Pay Yourself First. 8.9% went to debt, 27.6% went to expenses, and just over 50% went to sinking funds. So big sinking fund month because we did double some things up to account for that low income month in March, which ended up being a high income month because we got our tax refund. But anyway, I'd rather plan for worst case scenario and be pleasantly surprised than like not plan and then we don't have enough money in our sinking funds. We were really on budget this month. We made $48 extra like I mentioned, and our expenses were under budget by $2, and so that difference of $50 went to Pay Yourself First. So if we bring in more money than we expect or we have less expenses than we expect, it's always exciting if we can use that to get ahead with our money instead of just spend it. And so this month we were able to do that by contributing that $50 to my husband's Roth IRA and getting us that much closer to maxing it out for 2023. So that is it for our February budget. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to follow along and see more videos like this from me, then hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Like I mentioned, if you want to get my budget dashboard for yourself, it's linked in the video description, and I'll see you guys soon in the next video. Bye.